So if it is safe and appropriate, just closing down the eyes or fixing a point on the wall and just taking the gaze inwards as we notice the breath. If it's appropriate, laying one hand on the heart space and one on the belly. And just begin to notice the breath and connect the breath into the hands. The touch and the breath are the medicine, our own unique medicine. Coming into the present moment, in the body, in this time, open yet protected to receive this transmission. So we had the tooth fairy visit last night, and there was much anticipation and there was much preparation made by a certain little girl in my household. There were notes written and pictures drawn, and the tooth was left in a little jar underneath her pillow. And this morning, before her eyes even opened, she was, has she been? And there was much delight to find that the tooth fairy had left 5 gold coins in place of the tooth. And it just got me to thinking about these little touches of magic that infuse that very short time of childhood. And the creators of that magic, because, someone had to set an alarm early doors in the still dark hours to make sure that the tooth fairy had done what she was needed to do and to remind her to be there, just to check. And it's the same at all these little events. We just had Easter. The Easter bunny came and hid some little treats around the house because it was actually pouring down where we were on Easter morning. And all those little touches that go into the season, the gifting season of Christmas and solstice, how we observe them, the cleaning of the house that happens on New Year's Eve, making sure all the corners are swept and the skirting boards are cleaned, ready for a new year. And then all the little occasions throughout the year. And it's that feminine effort that creates a certain essence in the home. Now, I am fully aware that some homes don't contain a feminine or someone who identifies as a woman, but they all contain some feminine. And that essence, that adorning essence, is the feminine, whether that's happening inside a masculine or not. So it's that extra little sparkle. It's the magic in the mundane. It's putting a light catcher in the window so that every so often, when the sun hits it just right, there's little rainbows all over the place. It's making those little magical events, not just throughout childhood, but throughout the home, the touches. It's the candle that goes on, or the incense stick that goes on after there's been a clean-up. It's these touches in life, and it's these times in life when we infuse the mundane with the magic, that we are experiencing the full force of Imbasvarosne, or the Shekinah. Now, Imbasvarosne and the Shekinah are worshipped by the ancient, not worshipped, but, well, yes, worshipped, I'll stay with worshipped, observed, recognized by the ancient civilizations as the feminine aspect of the God force, or the God source energy. And the best description I've ever heard, they are the same thing, by the way. They are two names for the same thing. Imbasvarosne is the Irish terminology. The Shekinah is the Hebrew terminology. And the best description I've ever heard is, if the God source is a light, then the Shekinah, or Imbasvarosne, is the halo of light around that light source. It's the emittance of that light. The light itself is the masculine, and the emittance, or the halo, or the thing that beams out into creation, is the Shekinah. Now, the Shekinah is the ultimate. It's the goddess. When we think of all the different goddesses, they are Imbasvarosne, or Shekinah, personified almost. We're giving them a human shape, or a shape that we recognize. They're not always actually exactly human, because they do all kinds of things, and they shape shift, and they may have fish tails, or they may have, but these goddesses that we see, they are all, I like to think of it as, they are the facets of the diamond that is the Imbasvarosne, or the Shekinah light, the ultimate light of the goddess. And these different aspects and elements allow us to get to know the different aspects of the goddess, but on the facets of the goddess, but also to relate to them, because there's always something in these goddess stories and myths and personifications that we can attach to. They have relationships, they bear children, they fight wars, they are involved in more human pursuits than just being a light. In reality, there's no masculine and feminine in the God source, but that's how we need to understand it. We need duality and contradiction in order for us to understand, and on this very human level. And so this idea, this concept of the light around the light source, the thing that reaches us, the thing that is, we are God source. We are God source energy, fractalized into little souls, experiencing these parameters of physical existence for the divine. And this Shekinah, this light, this feminine light source, this ultimate mother, and we're talking about divine mother here. We're not talking about pinny in an apron, or, working mother. We're not talking about mother, because human mothers are flawed. This mother is not flawed. She's totally unconditional. Her love is totally unconditional, and she can love anything. And when we bring her energy into our lives, and all we have to do is invite, we only have to open the door and she's there. Because, as I say, she's the ultimate unconditional mother. So, when we next clean the house and there's that extra little sparkle, when we really go into the celebration of either, it can be one of the natural year celebrations related to the sun. It can be observing the moon calendar. It can be observing a Sunday, when everything's just a little bit more relaxed. When we consciously bring some magic into the mundane, when we really allow ourselves to celebrate or be joyous or create the little magic around, when we allow the tooth fairy in, we are opening and channeling the Imbas Frosne or the Shekinah into our lives. And it just adds beauty and light and a lightness of touch. So I invite you today, what can you actively do? Because Shekinah is action as well. Shekinah is the feminine. She's the Shakti. She's the movement. What little area of the house can you deal with, or area of the garden, or how can you actively create some magic today? And then sit back and observe how the light dances around you.